Okay, Steve, so you've just been up to Bundaberg working on a cane harvester, and you're working on yield monitors. Tell me why that's significant.
Steve, look, the sugar industry's been wanting to know yield in their fields for years. It's been a bugbear with the sugar industry to know that we've been gathering yield in cotton and grains for years, and we've just never been able to crack the yield side of it in the sugar industry. The sugar guys are really looking for this yield technology to make improvements to their soils and to be able to variable rate the fertiliser application based on the yields in the field.
Okay, so the benefits, not just being able to know the weight of the cane going to the mill, but knowing what's happening in the soil as well.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. And look, a lot of the guys certainly do want to know tonnes per hectare that's coming off the fields, but they're looking to spread their inputs across the field into the parts of the field that would do the most benefit to that yield crop.
Okay, so how are you putting this together on the machine itself? Have you just sort of knocked up some electronics, or is there something special going on?
Look, Steve, we've been very lucky to be the Australian dealer for Greentronics. Greentronics are a Canadian company, and they've had a yield monitor on the market for a lot of years in the horticultural industry, traditionally potatoes. We've taken that technology and installed a weighing platform on a John Deere 3510 cane harvester. That weighing platform has been fitted to the end of the elevator, and along with some other sensors, we've been accurately measuring yield. I think we've put 20,000 tonne across the machine so far, and the results are looking very promising.
Okay, so the technology you've applied from Greentronics sounds like it's the key to the success here of working with cane. How does that work in any other industry platforms?
With the Greentronics, we believe that they've over the years have developed some great software and some other sensors that allow the technology or the software to accurately measure that yield based on the machine angle and tilt, and to get those good results.
Would it be good for potato farmers and carrot farmers, for example?
I believe so. Like I said before, Greentronics have had their yield monitor on potato machines in Canada for a lot of years. We were lucky to install a yield monitor on a sweet potato harvester in Bundaberg, and we can see a great fit for it in the carrot industry, ginger, and traditionally any other small crops.
Okay, so just looking at the machine, the basics of what we've got here, there's a few sensors and a few weights. What's the basics of what's happening here, and the controls in the cab too?
Sure, so we've got a standalone display in the cab that is monitoring yield. So we're taking a reading every second, and the display in the cab is showing that's in tonnes per hectare. The sugar cane is travelling across a weighing platform. Like I said, is measuring a count every second, and from there we're getting that display in the cab. From 2017, John Deere will be introducing that yield map to display live on their John Deere 2630 displays, and also the technology is also current on Trimble displays as well.
Okay, so as far as all the data getting put together from the machine, how do I pull it up on my laptop and check it out?
Sure, so Steve, the Greentronics data will come as a CSV file, so we could simply put that into our computer and see a spreadsheet on the screen. What we're offering is to have that data post-calibrated with our friends at PCT, and that data will be then post-calibrated and presented back to you as a live map on some PCT software, and that map will be able to display yield variability.
Okay, so if we look at some examples of some of the results we've got on the computer here, what can you tell me about this one we're looking at here at Field 65? What are we looking at really?
Yeah, so Field 65, what we've seen there is the average of the field is 140 tonnes per hectare after post-calibration. We've got a 21% coefficient of variation. In this example, cane yield decreases with zones of increasing soil EM. So the higher conductive soil has a 9% less yield than the field average, 140 tonnes per hectare. The second image we're looking at, Field 52, we're seeing a difference there due to drainage or directional slope. So this may indicate that the better furrow drainage is resulting in increased yield, and multi-plane GPS levelling may help improve the drainage in this field.
Right, okay, so bottom line is the technology and the software is going to pay for itself because you can go in and you can deal with the issues that you don't really know you've got and where they are.
Correct, yeah. We're hoping that the yield technology will allow you to pinpoint your poorer areas in the field, and looking at those poorer areas we can say, is it a drainage problem? Is it a soil problem, a soil health problem? Can we apply some different fertiliser rates to bring that field average up?
Okay, so if I wanted to get this on my harvester, how long would it take on average for you to install?
Look, I think the guys in our workshops be able to have that up and running in a couple of days, and that'll be fully supported by the team at VNet in the technology division of Vanderfield.
G'day, Stephen Fram here from Vanderfield. Today we're in Bundaberg. We've been working on a little project. We've installed a yield monitor on a John Deere cane harvester. I'm here with Mark Hedke from Hedke Harvesting, and we're just going to have a chat about what we've done and why we've done it, and hopefully we can provide some benefits to the sugar industry. Mark, thank you for allowing us to put this piece of equipment on your harvester. What do you think so far?
Well, it's definitely been accurate so far, and surprised that it actually worked, because we did have our doubts.
Yeah, we did.
Because there's been a lot of people working on this since the 1980s, and I really think we've actually cracked it.
Okay, so all we've done, fairly simple guys, we've put a load cell system into the top of the elevator. We're measuring the cane once per second as it's going across that elevator. It's giving us a readout into the cab, and obviously we're checking that daily with what the sugar mill is paying us for on the bins. Mark, what are we doing? We're sort of, 50 bins a day?
Well, we're averaging 600 tonne a day, so
600 tonne a day,
100
yep.
bins a day.
Yep.
And definitely been accurate. We've run over 20,000 tonne over it at the moment, and it's been accurate every day.
So, Mark, other uses, we're cutting cane. You're a planting contractor. What can you see? What benefits can you see there?
Quite easily. If you had one in your plant cutting harvester and you were going and cutting plants on someone else's property, they were buying plants, you could say, well, I need 100 tonne of plants. You could measure the 100 tonne of plants out or whatever, and then you could easily bill that person for them plants. Multi-lift units also would be good for road transport.
So how's a multi-lift? How's a multi-lift work for us guys that don't know much about
multi-lift is a big bin that gets pulled up onto the back of a semi-trailer. They get loaded, and I think they've got to be under 21 tonne. Mm-hmm. So if they get over that amount, they then get a overweight penalty. They get fined. So they could measure what is actually going into the tippers, into the bins.
Right.
So
we can see some value in that.
Quite a good system for that also. Yep. And even just keeping an eye on block numbers and tonnages of your cutting daily. Yep. You'd sort of know where you are getting to in your own crop.
Okay. So being a John Deere owner and an owner of the John Deere guidance system, Green Star, we're fairly happy to announce that next year that the yield monitor will be available to run through the Green Star system, so you'll actually have a live yield map on the display inside the harvester. Can you see some benefits there?
Oh, you can definitely, especially even on your own properties, you can see what needs improving in the future. Mm-hmm. You can go, well, I've got an issue in here, why is my tonnage down?
Yep.
So you can address that to definitely get higher yields.
Excellent. So all things are looking good for the yield monitor for a cane harvester.
Seems to be that way, Steve.
Okay. Stay tuned, guys. Here we come. There you go, mate.